Good morning. Today I was going to do a different message. I was in the shower and I started thinking about the story of Joseph and about how it's in Genesis 37 through 50 and about his life. And as I was reading it this morning and listening to it also, just how what I started thinking about is how depraved and how jacked up man was back then. Nothing's really changed. Our hearts are still really messed up as far as so self-centered and self-seeking. And I was thinking about Joseph's life, about how when he was young, he was pretty prideful and very arrogant. And as life went on for him and he went through so many trials, he became more and more dependent upon God, and he became more and more free. And in the end, his brothers that were actually sold him into slavery, that were going to kill him, he actually showed them grace and mercy and forgiveness in the end. And I thought of Jesus on the cross saying, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." And I think in our lives, when we go through the trials and struggles in our life, and when we depend on God, it produces in us the fruit of the Spirit. It produces in us the nature and character of God, which is love. It gives us compassion for those that are struggling instead of being self-centered and prideful. But the more that we go through, I think a lot of times it softens us, and it gives us a realization that we're all just fellow strugglers. I love that about Ragamuffin, just saying that, we're a band of ragamuffins, that we're all just trying to get through this life, and we all fall short of the glory, but we all kind of need one another. There's beauty in that, and there's freedom in that when you're not trying to glorify yourself above others. You could celebrate other people's success when you come to the end of yourself. And I think Joseph was in that place. He showed grace. When you experience the grace and mercy and love of God, and it should produce it in you. If you're, I don't believe there. I thought about prideful Christian, and that doesn't even make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Because it should produce in you humility, and more dependence upon God, instead of the person that's trying to glorify themselves is not a free man. He's in bondage to other people's opinion of him. Freedom comes from knowing that you're God's and you've submitted your life, and you can have the peace of God with you because you know you're who you are and whose you are for the first time in your life. May you experience that peace of God today. We have peace with God when we come to believe. Peace of God fluctuates, I believe, when it comes to how much we submit our lives to God. If we're holding on to ourselves, we don't have room for God to transform and change us. But when we lay down our life and say, God, I'm yours, that's when we become more and more like the image that's supposed to be there. May you experience that today. God bless y'all.